Today I visit with author Bob Bruno. I'm Rick J, and this is Spotlight on the Arts. Welcome to Spotlight on the Arts, coming to you from the J. Rick Studios in mid-Missouri. I would ask you now to please join me in welcoming author Bob Bruno. Truly excited to have you with us here on Spotlight on the Arts, Bob.
It's my pleasure to join you, Rick.
Yes, it's good. I've been looking forward to it. Well, this is your first time with me on Spotlight in the Arts, and your interview, since we talked about it on the phone, a copy of a new book that you're excited about. I'm excited about called Saints and Sinners, Geniuses and Idiots. Now what? So I want to walk him on that. First, before we get into the book and all this other stuff, I want to let people know that Bob and I go back a long ways. I guess to grade school. He entered the Boone School, named after Daniel Boone. Back in the day, he joined in fourth grade, but we didn't really get to become friends until the junior high level, about seventh grade. So it's kind of nice to talk to a schoolmate of the past. We've been in contact with each other for a while. In fact, Bob gave me my first, should we say, movie. That was a movie that you'll have to describe it if you would. So I guess I have to give my first stage, my first movie, in that sense to Bob. What was that all about for the viewers there, Bob?
Well, we did that as a school project. Basically, it was the title of the movie was The History of Drama, and we tried to take it from the early Greek theater um, on up through modern day with the musicals. As a matter of fact, we went through the morality plays back in the Middle Ages. We had a version of the melodrama when movies first started here in this country. And we ended up doing a brief rendition of Oklahoma. And I believe that's where you came on the scene, you and the other folks. But
Oh,
again, that was part of a school project we did for Mrs. Thompson, I believe was the teacher's name at
yes.
the time. So that was my first foray into serious photography. But we got a good reception to the movie, and had it was a great learning experience for all of us.
Yes, you give me the singing the song Oklahoma. Da, 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 da.
Yes,
Yes. Yeah, I hope you got an A plus on that, Bob.
I don't recall. I know we got the
I see.
grade.
Oh, great. Well, then we've kind of covered that. So we go back and I think Bob really kind of inspired me. I was on the track of doing a lot of singing in church and different places. And then I got the kind of the bug for the movies, wanting to be a movie star or what have you. So I think that really inspired me that you had enough confidence in me just to be part of that. So I want to give you that, you know. Uh,
Well, I appreciate that.
well, if you will now, Mr. Bruno, Bob, to me, if you could give us a little bit of the background on Bob Bruno. My gosh, you've got great home roots and experience and family and what have you. I'll just let you run with it if I could.
Well, the I'll focus a little bit on what gave me the original idea for the book. was actually back in the seventh or eighth grade. We were sitting at lunch in the cafeteria, and somebody did something or said something that was funny, and a bunch of us laughed. Some didn't. What
Mhm.
was interesting was when I was walking upstairs to go back to class, the thought crossed my mind, why did some people laugh and some people didn't? And that was the original trigger about observing human behavior.
Mhm.
Uh, it's the all of the different things that occur to us modify our personalities. Uh, it modifies someone else's personality differently than it does mine. But it triggered the lifelong thinking about this. Later, I did studies in sociology and human resource development, and that kind of focused a little bit on how to present what I had learned. And that eventually resulted in the book. The book takes us from the beginning of personality, which actually starts in the fetus, and works its way on up from there.
Yes.
Uh, then going through different stages of
Right.
life. Some of the stages hit us a little differently, or they're more notable. Uh, Being old enough to get a driver's license, being old enough to vote, to marry, to have
Uh,
children.
but you're a family man. Got military experience. Can you share that with the people worldwide? Kind of give them a little bit of background. You both and I have traveled a long way over the years now, reaching into that senior identity. But I know you've got a great background. Would you share that with people?
Well, I started out, of course, doing the incidental jobs we had in high school, did a touch of babysitting, dishwashing, throwing newspapers. Actually got a summer job working with Brunswick, building bowling alleys for 3 years,
Ah,
and started college, ran out of money. So I joined the Navy. I ended up spending 22 years in the Navy. I
ah.
started out as a photographer, ended up being an electronics technician. Finally retired after 22 years as a chief, and I had joined the Navy on April the 1st. And at my retirement ceremony, I made the statement, you'd think that somebody that joined on April Fool's Day didn't plan on sticking around this long. So that took care of that.
Yeah,
After finishing the Navy, then I started a master's degree in human resource development. Along the way, I got married, had children. I am now, as of about a year ago, legally a great great grandfather.
great great grandfather.
So I've
You want
managed
to
to
you, you want to say hi
pack
to
a few
those
things.
children and
Oh,
grandchildren, great grandchildren?
well, hello to the children, Michael, Stephen, Patrick, who's since passed away,
I see.
Teresa and Kathy, and the spouses and the grandkids and the great grandkids.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Uh, so that sounds like fulfilling life. And you're like me, we're still trekking along and trying to give what we can to those people. Um, well, how did you become to really inspired to be a writer?
Well, I always enjoyed writing, but it was always a kind of a love-hate relationship.
I see.
I enjoyed finally producing something, but it takes forever to get to that point.
Uh-huh.
With a writer, based on what I've read and personal experience, the book or the paper that you've written was never really quite right. Even when you've published, you still could have done it differently. You always think of something you could have phrased a little differently. Maybe you didn't make a point as strongly as you felt you should have.
Yes.
So it's like I say, combination of love, hate.
Yes, I agree. Love and hate. Same thing with acting, doing a commercial. You always run it by yourself. So I have discovered I just have to let it go at some point. If they enjoyed it and you got that dollar amount and you have a couple of words, then something must have gone right. But
Right.
I think it's good to be somewhat humble within yourself to know that you still can question you have questions on your future and engagements and what have you. So, well, what continues then you to inspire you as a writer? You've got this one book we're going to talk extensively about, but do you still have the bug?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, I've already thought the next book is going to be called What I Say,
Oh,
the How to Develop Effective Communication.
oh, I see.
I must say that a lot of this was triggered by my sweetheart. Like I was saying earlier, the love-hate relationship, never getting it quite done right. Just conversations with her helped clarify some of the points or re-clarify them more effectively, and also triggered the concept of doing the second book um, that hopefully will be out in the next year or so.
Super. Well, we'll talk about that again as a follow-up after we talk in depth about your book there in the second part. Do you want to say a quick hello to that special person in your life? You haven't mentioned her name,
Oh, I'm sorry, that was Carol.
Carol. Well, nice to have Carol support and someone to talk to and run stuff by. And hello, Carol from Rick J. If you'll admit that. Well, so I did want to ask you where this new book is currently available online, where the viewers may review or purchase a copy.
Right now, it's available at Amazon, of course.
Hmm.
It'll be going international in the next month or two. Um, I do have a website starting up. Um, the title of the website is bobbruno.online. There'll be a link to the sales for the book at that site.
Well, good.
There'll also be two free books, um, one on juggling and another one on photography. I juggled in nightclubs and small carnivals for a few years and taught a couple of hundred people how to juggle after that. And of course, working as a photographer, both in the Navy and as a civilian, kind of provided me with a background to produce the second book. Like I say, those will be
Super.
two free books that will be available on the website.
Great. So you have those other talents, and I was hoping you'd bring them up as a juggler and photography. That's what you did for the military. You shared with me.
Yeah, I was doing portraits when I was a civilian.
Oh, I see.
While I was in the Navy, we did what's called bomb damage assessment in Vietnam.
Ah.
We mapped Thailand for the Thai government.
Mhm.
Um, so there's a lot of processing and printing and damage assessment and so forth that I did in the Navy. So that was very active and very interesting.
Now, I can imagine. I visited Thailand a couple times following up on some some investigation on certain things happening with the United States Army Security Agency, which I was part of. So, yeah, I love that country. So you've seen it extensively. I just saw the great people and the buildings, the temples, what have you. So.
Well, no matter where you go in the world, the people basically are very beautiful things.
Yes. Well, do you have any book signings coming up on this, on your saints and sinners and geniuses and idiots?
Yeah, I've got one. It'll be posted on the website. It's not scheduled yet.
All right.
A gentleman has offered to provide some background music for the audio book I'll be doing in the next few weeks.
Audio
And
book. Ah,
he and I are working together to arrange a book signing.
Yes. Now, I didn't give your location. You're basically in Florida, the Pensacola area,
Right now, I'm based in Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville.
Yes,
So no wonder you look so healthy. All that sunshine, huh?
absolutely.
Well, but we must take a break, so please make yourself comfortable while we look at these special messages. After the break, Bob will fill us in more on his book and the basic foundation, which you're going to find very interesting, as I did, for the writing basis and actually the message that he will hope you receive. That's Saints and Sinners, Geniuses and Idiots. Now what? We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to Spotlight on the Arts. I continue now with my special guest, author Bob Bruno. Well, Bob, before the break, we shared a lot of the information. So let's continue along those lines of thought and expression. Let's go back, give a little recap if we can. I understand this all started at grade school. Thereafter, as friends giving you input, and you've learned a lot from visiting with you and your here on the foundation of the book. And so, kind of give us a little bit of recap if you can.
Well, like I say, Rick, the initial thinking or the initial trigger was the joke or something funny that somebody had done in that cafeteria back in the seventh grade. And the intriguing thing to me was the different reactions. It was something funny, but not everybody laughed. And I realized at that point the differences in people's observations or perceptions of events. That was a simplistic one, something doing something funny, some people laughing and some not. But I've noticed over the years different scenarios uh, where it might be a somber occasion, but some people find humor in it, or
Mhm.
something you would consider a funny situation,
Yeah,
but some people don't find the humor at all.
that's
And
true. Yeah.
so it's these different scenarios with unexpected reactions that triggered my thinking and resulted in eventually this book.
Yes. Well, you're explaining. Could you do a reading out of the book and kind of let the viewers see if they get a feel of what you're talking about just from your reading?
Absolutely, Rick. Give me just a second here.
All right, sure.
Okay, starting out. So many times we hear folks say that Dave did this bad thing or Sam did this good thing, when in fact, what Dave did was exactly the right thing for Dave to do for Dave. And Sam actually made a mistake by doing what was not going to work out well for Sam. So often we make comments about someone doing something right or something wrong. In fact, what many folks do is not right or wrong, but something different. Why do we set these standards for behavior being right or while the other behavior is wrong? Was it something mom or dad said way back when? Or was it an aunt's or grandparent's statement? Stepping away from family, did a teacher mention something in the first or second grade that made an impression that stayed with you? There's so much to deal with in life. Growing up, getting through school, starting life as a young adult, going through temporary jobs, trying to settle down, start up, begin a career, meet the right one, set up a family, raise them, make money. How much? Retire? Did I do it right? What now? Now what? Is this really necessary? Good grief. Is this all just so much BS? No, it's not. The first concern is what is normal? Normal is a relative term. If someone from northern Alaska goes to Myrtle Beach, North Carolina, he or she will think is it extremely warm. If someone from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil goes to the same location, they may think it's a little on the cool side. The point is, some things we think are normal are relative to other folks' perceptions. Normal is a relative term. Your normal is not the same as someone else's normal.
And I'm glad you pointed it out. That's what really got me thinking as I read the book. I've always tried to tell him your normal is different than his or her normal. So you find yourself what is your normal, and then you don't have to worry about, what is and what isn't normal. So I thought that's great. Now you have within the book, you have different periods that you will give an exercise platform. Can you explain that a little bit? I found that automatically, not only were you thinking these different scenarios in your mind and how you're adapting, but Bob lays out platforms which gives you a direction to follow. So how does that work? I mean, it worked for me. How can you explain to the viewers how you, should we say, orchestrated that or
Well, the one thing I'd want to say up front, this book is written for the layman. This is not an academic book.
good?
It's intended to be an easy read, easily digestible. And as you just mentioned, I have exercises in there that I think are helpful in clarifying some of the issues and some of the points that I bring up in the book. We're talking about what's normal and the fact that the reader's normal is different from someone else's. And the exercises help to the reader to clarify in their mind what is normal to them. And by achieving some understanding of that, it makes it a lot easier to understand why and how the normal would be different for someone else.
And you have that structure to make it easy. Again, I don't care if you're 17, 18 years old and you want to try to figure a few things out of the past and where that came from, as Bob pointed out. Or if you're 30, 40, I look at, seems like life in 20 segments, 20 years old, 40 years old. But I don't, it doesn't matter what age, you're going to be able to look back. And in 20 years, you may pull this book out again and take another look. I just really feel that this is a great structured work of art.
One thing I'd like to mention is uh, to get a different perspective on it. There are some things that we learn when we're 16 and we discover other folks don't find out until they're 60,
Yes,
and vice versa. The person that didn't learn that at six until 60 learned something else at 16 that the other person didn't learn till they were 60. And when we're through with life, whenever the day comes, we will still have questions. We will
yes.
never know it all.
The very good point. Well said, Bob. Well said. Well, I understand you're looking to produce that second book based on maybe the responses, a follow-up to this book, where we talked about possibly doing interviews with people or at least getting their response so we can now put the question up there, as I sit here and wonder how everyone else is going to identify their life with the structure that you've given them. So is that still something you are considering doing your interviews, podcasts, whatever?
Oh, feedback is always critical for perceptions. Um, no matter how anything is written, some folks may still have questions. Uh, They may offer their own insights that may result in an updated version, updated edition of the book. Um, and of course, now on the website, I will also be putting out periodic little blurbs, things that may trigger some thought processes. One of them, for example, is a discussion of the combination of better versus better than.
Mhm.
Uh, Better is one thing, better than is another. How do the two relate?
Right.
So topics such as that will be posted on the website and welcoming folks' responses and observations on those types of thought processes.
So you have their website designed where people can email you and give you input or questions, and you'll
Yes,
respond.
yes.
Okay, great. Would you like to go ahead and share that website address, your email and phone number?
Yeah, that's Bob Bruno, Bobbruno dot online. And like I say, that should be up in the next 3 weeks.
Super. Well, we're about to run out of time. Do you have any closing words you'd like to pass on to the viewers? So,
No, just welcome afternoon to all the viewers out there. And having done some stage directing myself, I thank you to all of your backup crew. Um, I talked about being in different situations. I had the pleasure of being stage director for three beauty pageants, the winners of which went directly to the Miss World and Miss Universe contest.
right.
That's why I always like to say hello to the backup crew.
Yes,
And again, good afternoon, all the folks out there watching.
excellent. That's worldwide now on our GMN Plus TV. Well, I want to thank you once again, Mr. Bruno, that's Bob, for contributing to Spotlight on the Arts. It's been really inspiring to visit with you, and it's been an informational, educational experience also. So thank you once again, Bob.
My pleasure.
Great. Well, that wraps up another inspiring author here on Spotlight on the Arts. I want to thank you, viewers, and the backup crew for joining me here today on GMN Plus TV and YouTube, where this program, interview will be aired. So, if you would please like and subscribe. So I'll leave it there. Wishing you all a great life ahead. Be safe, stay healthy. Rick J saying, see you next time.